G'day, Formula One fans. 12 races down, 12 to go. It is time for the mid-season rookie report. Who's performing above expectations? Who is under most pressure? So far in 2025, we've had 7 rookies line up on the grid. Well, Mick, there's plenty to discuss. 7 rookies, the most in a long time that Formula One has probably ever seen on a grid in one season. Are you excited for this one?
Wow, it all depends. I remember when I used to get my mid-season report card, I was never really too excited about that because there was an ass whooping coming my way. But I don't think there's going to be too many ass whoopings today. But
That's good.
like you said, there's definitely a lot of rookies on the grid. We haven't seen that many in a while. So yeah, I'm looking forward to giving our opinions and our views and getting slated in the comments at the end.
Of course, that's all part and parcel of it. I mean, look, we could take the easy way out and just go, here's the driver standings. This is where the rookies are. This is the ranking system. But we know that Formula One is much more complicated than that. So we'll be looking at, obviously, the team that they're in, of course. But most importantly, looking at their individual performance, racecraft, consistency of races, how they stack up against teammates. Let's just get stuck straight into it. It's pretty obvious. The most controversial team on the grid regarding rookie drivers, that's Alpine, Jack Doohan, and of course, Franco Colapinto. But give us your take on Jack Doohan.
For me, Jack, man, is a hard one. Came into the season under so much pressure to begin with. For a rookie driver, man, that's got to be hard. And yes, we know F1 is a pressure sport and you do need to perform, but I think not just coming in with a clear head because he's had that, someone's going to replace him hanging over his head the whole time, must have been definitely tough. But look, for me, when you compare Colapinto and Doohan, if you even off based off the stats, man, they're pretty much like for like, right? When you compare even just the qualifying head to head, Gasly 5-1, same with Colapinto 5-1 in Gasly's favour. You look at the race results, man, they're basically finishing around the same spot. So for me, Jack was a little bit of a hard one. I'm gonna have to give him a D, unfortunately, because yeah, he just even though he was under so much pressure, he just didn't get the results to keep him in that seat.
Yeah, I agree. He came in with the rumors pretty much straight away of Colapinto hovering around. And I just don't think 6 races is enough to show what you've got. Look at Carlos Sainz over at Williams. It took him about 8, 9, 10 races to get on top of that machinery. We're seeing it with Lewis Hamilton as well. So 2 very experienced drivers still taking a little bit of time to get up to speed. We have to remember that the rules aren't like they were back in the day with testing. These rookies don't get the time in the seat like what used to happen years and years ago, where they could just run unlimited miles in the current gen car. I'm on the same page as you. I think Jack Doohan is a D. I would have liked to have seen him get more time in the seat because I really felt that we didn't see the best out of Jack, and there was a lot more that I think he could have done. So very unlucky. Unfortunately, demoted after the Miami Grand Prix. It wasn't to be. Now, Franco Colapinto, he comes in. Yes, he's still, in our eyes, a rookie. He had quite a few races on the back end of 2024. Started off with a hiss and a roar, of course. How do you think he's traveled so far since he came in? He's had 6 races so far this season.
Colapinto is another hard one for me because you got to remember, even in both stints in Formula One, he hasn't had a preseason, to get on top of the car. We've definitely seen it in the Alpine. Hasn't quite gelled with that car, and I think we're starting to see a little bit of desperation, a little bit of overdriving the car. He's had a couple of incidents, especially the last one in Silverstone. So yeah, and then when you look at him compared to Doohan, there's no difference. He hasn't been any better than Doohan has. He's probably finished a little bit higher up in the races than Doohan did, but Doohan probably qualified a little bit better. For me, unfortunately, it's going to have to be a D for Franco, but I do feel for the dude. No preseason. He's under pressure as well, especially when you come in and you literally got to get in and perform straight away. And like you mentioned, you look at Sainz, you look at Hamilton and how they've struggled with the car, and you've got to think they've had a preseason. Unfortunately, it's a D from me.
Yeah, I'll just cut straight to the chase. I'm thinking a D as well. Very comparable to doing. Same boat for me. Needs more time in the car. Perhaps as well, when he first came in, there was a lot of talk around a 5 race stint. Whether that was true or not, it must still play quite heavily on your mind. And it does look like he's chasing the results. There's clearly he's overdriving, I think, at some point. In some points that you look at during the season. Had a pretty good race. I think it was in Canada. And I was really looking forward. I thought that would be his turning point where he might be able to then build on that performance. Straight away, just a D, but I'd love to see him have more time. Basically, the like for like for me. They're just two drivers, clearly have talent, but need more time to show it. But in saying that, I was expecting a little more from Colapinto just because he had that extra experience coming into the season, although a different car.
Yeah, look, I think everybody saw the pace that he had in Williams and was expecting him just to come straight in and be on the gas. For whatever reason, that second car of Alpine's is similar to Red Bull. That's they seem to struggle for whatever reason it is. I'm with you. Like I hope he gets to see out the rest of the season, especially if you're going to dump Doohan. Now, give the kid a proper shot. Now, there's the rumors with Bottas. So unfortunately, I think Midsummer might be the end of his time at Alpine. But it's a shame
Yeah,
because you you've got to give these kids time, man. Like you said, lack of testing. Yes, they can go and drive a 2023 car.
it's not the same.
It's not the same. It's match fitness, right? Same sort of thing. Like you can train in the park by yourself all you want, but once you get in the game's 3 times as intense.
Well, speaking of time, Racing Bulls, and the Racing Bulls are obviously interesting as well because we have essentially two rookies head to head. Now, Lawson, he's a rookie, of course, because, like we've said, this is his first season where he knew he was going to be a Formula One driver for at least the year, preseason, and all that. We know about the Red Bull debacle. We don't really need to touch on that. 2 races in Red Bull, it clearly wasn't enough. I think Lawson's an interesting one because when he was demoted, it was a struggle for him, and naturally it would be. You've gone from absolute peak excitement and optimism for your future to 2 race weekends, and it's feels like it's over. He's very lucky that there was a sister team to fall back on, so he can count his blessings with that. I'm going to give Lawson a C plus because I believe, particularly over the last 4 to 5 Grand Prix, I feel like he's got back on top of the car. I'm definitely seeing like upwards progression there for Liam Lawson.
A C plus for me. Just his biggest thing is Saturday, right? He just needs one. He needs a little bit of luck, but he needs to clean up Saturday. If he can qualify higher up on the grid, you're definitely going to set yourself up for the race because where he's qualifying at the moment, he's constantly having to scrap for every inch, and we're seeing he's getting caught up in silly little incidents. Like you said, since Monaco, man, he's been on that upward trend. So I think we're starting to see now he's starting to get a little bit of mojo back. And I think, yeah, the next 12 races, I think, are going to continue. Clean up your Saturdays, dude, and I think you'll be sweet. So, yeah, C+. plus.
Speaking of Saturdays, this is where his teammate has had the wood on him. Now, we saw Hadjar when he first came in to Melbourne, spun out on the formation lap. And look, it was terrible conditions, and he was distraught. Because what I've known of Hadjar was more from his F2, F3 days and how animated he gets on the radio. So I always kind of thought his mental state may be sort of like one way or the other, and that might count against him. And I thought a bad result, well, maybe that's not going to be a good thing going forward for his confidence. But he's showing he's very resilient. He can make a mistake in practice or qualifying and still get the job done. Hadjar for me is one of the clear rookies of the year so far, in my eyes. I'll give him a B plus. The last few races, probably a little substandard, and this is where I think things may get a little bit more complex for him is because he's come onto the scene. Most people were looking at Kimi Antonelli, of course. Hadjar has come in and he has performed well above expectations. But once you start performing at that certain level, then the expectation is that you continue it. So I would love to see how he goes over these next 12 races and if he can maintain that performance, or whether, a few bad results and then maybe a bit of a dip in confidence may affect him. But at this point of time, he bounces back pretty well. So Hadjar, B plus.
I'm the same, B plus. He's just doing what he needs to do. Like you said, man, he had that stellar start to the season, and then basically since Spain, after Spain, he's had a couple of bad results. But you did mention the mental resilience, and I think that's going to put him in good stead for the second half of the season. At the moment, 8-2 for the qualifying head to head with Lawson. Yeah, definitely a contender for Rookie of the Year for me.
Just to touch on the whole Red Bull saga, Laurent Mekies moving up to team principal over at Red Bull. It'll be interesting how the pathway changes now for Lawson and Hadjar, and yeah, it'll be very interesting because I think these next 12 races for both Lawson and Hadjar are going to be massive. All right, on to Ollie Behrman over at Haas. Now, Behrman, he got a taste of Formula One last year in Saudi Arabia, didn't he? With no other than Ferrari. I mean, already a young kid can just basically walk around and go, yeah, I've driven for Ferrari in Formula One. I actually think Behrman has, I think he's done a really good job. He's been a bit inconsistent. He definitely has probably a few too many mistakes in him, but when he's on pace, he's fast. He is fast. He needs a little bit of luck to go his way, but at the same time, he needs to stop some of those silly mistakes, particularly the issues he's had under red flags. I can't think of any driver this year that has an affinity with red flags. Yep. And we saw that massive mistake, obviously, in Silverstone coming into the pit. I don't think he'll ever make that again. Hey, look, we've even seen Lewis Hamilton way back in the day. Was it China when he came into a pit once? Behrman, for me, from a rating perspective, C+, but I think he's going to be pretty mighty these next 12 races.
For me, I'm going to give him a C. Like you said, it's just they're silly little rookie mistakes. Saturday is, because if you look at his race results, most of the races, man, he's been just either in 10th or just outside the top 10. Either fix the speed on Saturday, and he will definitely finish inside the points more races than not, because his racecraft, man, is epic. He's a good little racer, and he definitely has the speed. It's 7.5 to Ocon in the races. Qualifying's 8-4. So he's not far off his teammate. And get yourself in the position to get yourself in the points. Like, he could definitely outperform Ocon by the end of the season in terms of results, because he's got, on Sunday, he's definitely got the speed. It's just Saturday, he seems to be lacking a little bit. Clean up the silly little rookie errors, because eventually there's going to come a point where, yes, you're a rookie and yes, you can make mistakes, but if you keep doing them consistently, the pressure's going to start to mount.
Like you said, on the Sunday, he's done so well. The last 3 races in a row, he's picked up 3 P11s.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just outside of the points.
Yeah.
So he's, and then comparatively where he's qualified, he's done extremely well on the Sunday. So yeah, he's got such big potential, Ollie Behrman.
He's good, man. He's good. He really is really, really good.
All right. Speaking of another good driver from Brazil, Gabby Bortoleto. Now, I would say from a rookie perspective, he been with Sauber, been in a team that, particularly at the start of the season, there wasn't a lot of focus on. So I always thought that would be quite positive for him, that he could come into Formula One without so much media attention and eyes on him. Got to remember, he's a reigning F2 champion. There are expectations on him to succeed in Formula One, of course, but we know that you can be a F2 gun doesn't guarantee that you're going to have a long, successful Formula One career. Typical rookie started off, I remember in the season, the typical rookie mistake, sort of hovering around the back. But we have seen, particularly since the upgrades, we've seen what Hulk has been able to do. So I think going forward, the pressure now for Bortoleto is that if Hulk is doing these things quite consistently now, then Gabby needs to start to, make sure that he's there or thereabouts with Hulkenberg. But from a rating perspective, I give him a C minus.
I gave him a C because I'm with you a bit. Start of the season, out of sight, out of mind. Like you said, they've moved up to sixth in the Constructors' Championship and they want to stay there, right? Which means that's going to come with pressure. He's going to be expected to perform at a lot higher level than he is, especially when Nico's doing what he's doing. Look, he had a great eighth place in Austria, so he showed he can do it. That team's on the upward trend. He needs to match that. But when you compare them like qualifying, they're 6 and 6. So Saturday speed compared to his teammate is not an issue. It's just obviously Hulk's got so much more experience when it comes to racing. So then you look at the racing comparison, it's 8-3 in Nico's favour. So yeah, I'm the same as you for the young border lettuce. I'm going to give him a C.
I think a lot of people underestimate time management and getting their heads around what they can do and what they can't do on the tires in a specific moment. And that really just comes down to laps and mileage in the car. Look, it's pretty straightforward. We expect all these rookies over the next 12 races to improve, particularly in that aspect. All right, on to the prodigy, Toto's son, the gun, the guy with perhaps, I would say most people look at all the rookies with the greatest amount of potential. Already talked that he's a future world champion. A lot of pressure on the young guy's shoulders, of course. Kimi Antonelli. I'm going to let you start off with Kimi Antonelli. I want to hear what you think.
I'm going to give him a B plus. He was amazing at the start of the season, and to be fair, out of all the rookies, he should have been amazing at the start of the season because that Mercedes was pretty stout. Imola, he's had a bit of bad luck, and a bit of a missile attack on Max as well. In between that, he's managed a podium in Canada, right? So the kid has certainly got the potential. You look at the people he's got around him. He's got Toto, he's got Russell, and his engineer Bono. And I think this next few races and leading into the second half of the season is going to be a good little learning period for him because right now he's having a bit of a tough time of it. He's had 2 retirements in the last 2 races. This is all learning, right? This is learning and all part of being a Formula One driver. So I have no doubt, future world champion, absolutely. No doubt in my mind. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been signed to Mercedes straight away like he was. So for me, I'm giving him a B plus.
Yeah, he's a B plus for mine as well. I would say he's handled himself pretty damn well. You are a young kid. You come into a factory team like Mercedes, but you replace Lewis Hamilton. There's a lot of expectation on you, and there's been a lot of expectation on him for quite a long time. The good thing about Toto Wolff is I believe he is the type of team boss that knows when to be tough, but he also knows when to put the arm around. And that's exactly what Kimi needs. I mean, having Bono as your race engineer, you can see the way that they treat him and the way they speak to him, particularly last year when he got that FP1 appearance and he made a hash of it, crashed. Toto was quick to come on the radio. Toto put this kid in the car knowing that this season he was going to make some silly mistakes, but they know how much of a rough diamond he is. Well, he's not even that rough. They just know he just needs a little bit of extra polishing. So Kimi Antonelli, huge future, and I think, to be honest, I think he's done well. That's a lot of pressure coming in to replace Lewis Hamilton at a factory team like that. I would say from the start of the season, out of all the rookies, he probably had the toughest gig based purely on that, and I think he's handled himself well. And like you said, going through a little bit of a rough trot. Yes, a few DNFs there, some his fault, some mechanical, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he bounces back over the next few races. So he's a gun. So there you have it. There are our ratings. I think we're both on the same page.
Yeah.
Very similar. I don't think there's too much rage debate to have between us. But in saying that, I'm sure the viewers at home are pretty passionate about certain things that we got wrong, or maybe they agree we got certain things right. But if that is the case, throw your comments in. Would absolutely love it. Now, anything you want to add regarding the rookies, Mick?
No, look, I think okay, bar probably Franco and Jack. They've done a pretty good job. They're starting to show a little bit of mental strength there, which is clearly what you need to be in this game. Let us know. Do you agree with us? Are we on the old Gatorade saxophone? it's the next 12 races is going to be mega, and I can't wait to get stuck in. So until then, we'll catch you in the next one. Latest.
See ya.